Brian, you know, pools are opening for the first time this season, and many people taking out the boat for the first time as well. It's top story number 4. Nick Gill is one of the instructors at the Dayton Area Red Cross. He's got the 5 things you need to know if you're going to be out on the water. So good to have you, and this is about as timely as it gets because now pools are opening tomorrow, maybe some, you know, a Memorial Day. Folks getting out of the water, but we want to make sure everyone stays safe. Nick, and you have 5 things that we need to know. What's the first one?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sean. The first one, we're wanting to make sure that folks aren't swimming unsupervised. We want to make sure they're swimming in areas where lifeguards are.
Yeah.
Number 2, we want to make sure that if they're maybe swimming in a home environment, that children aren't just there supervising other children, that parents are really playing an active key role in that.
Yeah.
We don't want to put that responsibility on them.
So you want to make sure that they have constant supervision, and that's very important too.
Absolutely. At the American Red Cross, we advocate what's called really reach supervision, making sure that they're within arm's reach, so not kicking back there on the lawn chair, making sure we're close by.
Okay, perfect too. Number 3, make sure everyone in your family can swim well, and that's kind of something you can help with.
Absolutely. Our goal over the next 5 years is that we're able to make a 50% decrease in drownings within the local areas. So we've got quite a goal, especially seeing as how drowning is the second leading cause of death in young children.
And it's sad to hear because it's preventable, and that's something that you guys are definitely focusing on. I love that you're doing that. Number 4, let's talk about equipment. There's appropriate equipment that you need. Highlight that for us.
Sure. We want to make sure you've got some sort of long-reaching pole, whether it's maybe for the skimmer net, something that you can reach out to help someone if they need, and making sure you've got things like a cell phone nearby in case you do need to call 911.
Yep, and also a first aid kit, as mentioned as well.
Absolutely.
What about CPR? This one I was kind of wondering about because do you need to be certified for that?
You know, it's strongly recommended. The reality is that it takes as little as 30 seconds for a child to go from a struggling victim to an unconscious victim on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
So knowing CPR would definitely really increase the chance of survival for someone experiencing that kind of emergency.
We live in the digital age, and I think that's kind of neat because you have an app for us too that maybe we should download as well.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of free apps available within the Google and Apple stores, and specifically a swimming app is available. It has lots of fun interactive quizzes and things for kids to be able to do as well. And it interfaces with your child's swim lesson programs if they're taking swim lessons at a local center.
The last one you have your children or inexperienced swimmers wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life vest.
Absolutely. Any non-swimmer we would advocate should definitely be wearing a Coast Guard approved life jacket, whether they are an adult or a child.
You offer these courses. What are some of the biggest things you see that are most difficult for kids to get in the water and to start swimming on their own, to gain that confidence?
You know, it's important to be able to get children acclimated to water as early as even 6 months of age, so that way they can get used to the idea of being in the water with maybe even someone they're not as familiar with, such as their parents.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big jump going from a bathtub to a swimming pool, so it's generally just the water acclimation.
If folks heading out this weekend, they may be heading out on the boat like we talked about. We've got a good forecast for that. They may be heading to the pool. What's the big advice you'd have for them?
You know, as much fun as it may be to indulge in some of those adult beverages, we would just really encourage you to be responsible.
Yeah.
And don't do anything that could impair your judgment and your ability to be able to help a loved one.
Just to go over the top 5 safety tips that you do have: swim in the designated areas with a lifeguard present if that is where you're going to be swimming at. Also maintain constant supervision, like you said. Make sure everyone can swim well. Of course, Red Cross offers those swim lessons, which is amazing there. Have the appropriate equipment at the pool, first aid kit, a phone nearby. If you can, no CPR, or have someone nearby that does. And last thing, wear your life vest, which is so important. A lot of people don't want to wear it because it's not fashionable.
I know,
right?
I know.
But it will save your life,
Absolutely.
and so will these tips. We appreciate you coming on from the Red Cross
thank you.
and sharing all of these. All right, throw it over to you, Katie.